My name's Melissa Avera, and I love being a realtor. I specialize in real estate in the DFW and surrounding areas, and I also grew up here, so I'm very familiar with the Metroplex. Buying or selling a home can be an extremely stressful task, so I really try to go the extra mile to take that stress out of my clients' hands.
This is Going the Extra Mile. Now, from Frito Nation Productions in the Caddo Office Reimagined Studios, here's Melissa.
I'm fired up when I wake up in the morning, ready to just, crush my day, pretty much. And for me, I'm in real estate and have not always been in real estate, but I've been in it long enough now that I truly feel like it is the greatest industry in the world. And I come from a healthcare background. I was in healthcare for a very long time, and then I ended my career in medical sales. And so I saw all the aspects of it from, the clinical standpoint to the more business, you got to hit a quota kind of thing. And I really enjoyed what I did, different aspects. I worked in a bunch of different aspects of healthcare over the years, but towards the end, it just got to a point for me where all these companies cared about was their bottom line. And it was so obvious. I mean, I would kill it in the sales area, but it was never good enough for my boss or for the company. They always wanted more. And what I was doing at the end, it wasn't like I was selling pharmaceuticals, or it was more medical devices. And it just got to a point where I was working in pediatrics and with kids with very, very special needs. And we had different devices for, different things. And I would be in the clinic seeing these kids with doctors. And I was the person coming in who would measure them and evaluate them for different devices. And I was always just very honest with the doctor or the therapist, and especially most of the parents of these kids had been run through the ringer, totally. They had tried everything, nothing really worked. And if I knew in my heart that what I had was not going to work, I'm not going to push it. I'm trying to do what's in the best interest for those people. Like, I always put myself in their shoes. Like, if I was that mom or kid, I know this is not going to work, so why waste their time and energy and money? And of course, corporate America, that's not what they want. They want me to sell the crap out of it, whether they need it or not. And it just came almost down to like an ethical thing for me. I was like, I can't do this. I want to do the right thing. I've always, with everything I've ever done, part of it has been I've wanted to help people. That drives me. And I never in my wildest dreams thought about when I made the transition to real estate that it would be as rewarding as helping an 8-year-old take their first steps who had some major disability. But it is. It's different, but it's so rewarding. And I mean, that's what makes me get out of bed every day, because I know I get to work with people I want to work with. I get to help them and coach them and guide them to buy or sell or invest in probably the biggest thing that they're ever going to invest in. And I don't take that lightly. I mean, it's a big deal. And people look to you for the advice and trust in you that you are doing what's in their best interest, not yours. And that's just something I stay totally true to. I'm not I don't look at my business as, oh, that's another deal. That's however much commission. I'm grateful for the opportunity that I get to help. Sure, I need to make money, right? But there's a lot of people out there that's all they're thinking. I'm going to make X amount off of this sale. And I'm just not a transactional person. I'm very relational. And I feel like that's what makes you kind of stand out and makes people trust you, because you build that level of trust. It's not like every client becomes a friend, but a lot of my clients become friends because I interact with them on a very regular basis. Like, they buy or sell a house with me, they're going to hear from me on a very routine basis. I'm going to see them. We're going to go have coffee. whatever. I like to build that relationship. And in turn, the great thing about, and this is with any business, I think, with your business, like I try to run my business solely by referral so that I'm not having to do all the prospecting and all that crap that I don't want to do that takes time. And then you're working with people you maybe don't want to work with. And it's like, you say, hey, my brother needs to sell his house. Could you help him out? It's 100%. And I feel better about it because it's someone So I trust that you're not referring me to some, weirdo or psycho. And I just take it from there. And it's just kind of a evolving thing that's really a beautiful thing, in my opinion.
It is. It's also very encouraging to you and a compliment to you that you get those referrals.
100%. Yeah. And again, I don't take that lightly. When people send me a referral, they can expect, like, I'm going to take care of that person and I'm going to take care of you. Like, you'll be getting probably a thank you card in the mail with some kind of little gift, right? Because I appreciate that. I know everybody always has a choice. And the fact that people think highly enough of me and trust me to that level that they'll refer their friends, their family, their kids, their coworkers, like, that means the world to me. And I want to make sure people know that they're valued and appreciated. And I think that's one thing that there's not enough of in this world. I was talking to another business owner, small business owner that I know, and I just thanked her for referring me. And she looked at me and straight up said, well, thank you. And she goes, thank you for thanking me. And I just laughed and I smiled. And I go, what? And she said, I send business to a lot of people and no one that I can think of has ever taken the time to write a note or pick up the phone and call and just say, hey, thank you so much for that. I can't wait till I can return the favor. And I think that's sad that people don't do that. To me, people who don't do that don't really value the relationships.
It is sad, and I think it's getting worse.
Yeah.
We take each other for granted quite a bit. I know you, and you just said it. You want to treat every client. You want them to know how grateful you are.
Yeah. I want them to have the best experience possible. Like, everybody wants you to, if you ask them for a review, like, leave me a 5-star review, right? And it just blows my mind how people, I think just for me, like, communication is so key with anything you do, but especially with what I do in real estate. People want to know what the heck is going on every step of the way. And if you just get them under contract and then don't communicate, okay, this is the next step. This is what you should expect. We might have this hurdle. Like, I feel like I coach people through a transaction.
Yeah.
That's really how I look at it. I'm like their real estate advisor and just helping them. Well, what would you do? What do you recommend? And I hope they take my advice. Most of them do. Sometimes they don't, and stuff might go sideways. And then they're like, oh, I wish I would have listened to you. But for me, the other thing that I just absolutely love about my industry is the sense of community. Like, being involved in the community in general, I think just is so important for people. Like, I want to be a part of something bigger than me. I want to contribute. I want to give back to my clients. I want to, do something better for society. And it's just like, whatever that is for everybody looks different. But since I got into the industry, I, started a nonprofit for police because I saw a need. And it's amazing the people, I met you through that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, look at the connection we've built. It's awesome. And, people, like I've said before, people are better together. And I think when you can build, it's not all about business and money. It's about people and connections. And People need to get back to that.
I think a lot of people don't understand that concept until they do it. Because once you do it, once you get involved, and once you start helping other people, you understand that you're getting as much out of it as the person you're helping.
Oh, yeah.
And it also leads sometimes to a higher level of accountability for yourself.
100%. I have definitely leveled up on that since I became self-employed, you know. And I mean, the other thing I just think of is the joy that people don't see or wouldn't think. Like, I had a client last summer who called and she's like, I need you to sell my house. And I thought, you haven't lived in the house that long, right? Like, I don't know if this is really the best move, because here's kind of where I know we could sell your house. I would rather you make money. I don't want you to lose it. You know, if worst case, it's a break even. Well, her house was so awesome and the market got so hot that she made netted over six figures.
Wow.
On the sale of her house that she hadn't even owned a year and a half. That's insane. And I mean, she literally called me crying and was just so grateful and so appreciative. She's like, Melissa, you have no idea. She goes, it's not just like, yeah, I made $130,000 on the sale of my house. She goes, you just set me up for retirement.
Yeah.
You seriously just helped me with my financial future. And that meant so much to me. Like, dang, man, I just set that girl up for retirement. That's awesome. And that's the stuff that brings me just absolute joy, that people don't, you know, even people in my industry, they don't necessarily see it that way because they're too focused on the next deal, next deal.
I mean, I got to tell you that my first home purchase, I fell in love with my mortgage guy. I still don't know his last name. In my phone, I had Sam, the mortgage guy.
Nice.
Because he walked me through a process that I didn't want to go through. And when he first met with me, I think I've told you this, but maybe not. It was during all the subprime mortgage lending. Mm-hmm. And when he first met with me, he asked me what I was looking for. I said, the easiest, most convenient, least scary,
stress-free way.
And he said, okay. And he, when I was signing the paperwork, when he was the initial stuff, he said, no, Mark, you've got to understand this mortgage is an awful mortgage for you. But it's not awful until 4 years. So it fits exactly what you wanted. It's easy right now. And it's convenient right now. But if you don't refinance this thing within 4 years, you're going to hate me. So promise me. And he walked me through the whole process. And he had no idea how much I appreciated the fact that not only did he take what I asked him to do, but he told me, you're doing it wrong, but you'll be okay.
Right.
And
now at the 4-year mark, did he call you and say, hey?
I called him.
Yeah.
Yeah, within 2 years.
Yeah.
But my whole goal when I first met him is I just want to get in this house. I don't.
It can be
any
such an
hassles.
overwhelming process. And for some people, they just go in with the mindset like either they're like really excited, like a first time buyer, oh, I get to buy my first house, or I'm a move up buyer, I get to buy my dream house, or it could be the opposite, like I'm having to move for reasons I don't want to. Maybe you're going through a divorce, maybe you lost your job and you're having to sell your house and go somewhere else. You know, it's like there's different things that motivate people why they sell or buy. And that's when I meet with people for the first time, that is my goal to get down to. Why? Mm-hmm. Why are you wanting to move? Why are you wanting to sell? Because if they're really not that motivated, they probably really aren't that invested and committed to doing it. And it's like, I want people to be excited about the process. Like, I do everything I can to make it as easy and stress-free as possible. I mean, sometimes there's hoops you have to jump through with appraisals or home inspections and things like that. But again, if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, on your side, it shouldn't be hurdles constantly.
Well, in that situation you just described, my imagination just goes wild when the woman calls you and says, I need you to help me sell my house. To me, that means that she may have been in distress. She didn't necessarily really want to sell, but she had to.
Mm-hmm.
And you created a situation where not only did you bail her out of something, but my gosh, now she's set for retirement. So it's, 180 degrees.
And and I think that's the other thing I just love about my job is I get to work with so many different people at different phases of life. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool to see, from a single person or newlywed couple buying a house to, okay, I'm having a kid, I need more space, and it's just like getting to know them through all the steps of or phases of life to, I just became an empty nester and they're struggling with it, but they know they don't need the 4,000 square foot house. So let's get a 2-bedroom condo. Right. And it's like, it's a lot of coaching and talking people off the ledge. Like I have some people now who have like a 3,800 square foot house. It's just the two of them. So we're looking to downsize and we'll go look at houses and some of them I see online. I'm like, that's 1,400 square feet. That's small. And they get there and they're like, wow, this is great. Or like, this is tiny. And I'm like, you're downsizing. You got to remember that. Like going from 38 to 3,500 is not downsizing. Mm-hmm. So I always have to be the voice of reason, which can be fun. Sometimes it can be like, oh boy, I'm just gonna have to say it. But, to like clients who like the family, like their parents pass away and they're having to sell their folks' house. And it's like, it's not something they want to do. It's emotional. It's not easy for them. But the fact that I can come in and help them do something where they have all these emotional ties and kind of guide them and hold their hand through it. And it just makes like, wow, thanks for making that so easy. And it just getting to know people. Like, I went on a listing appointment a few months ago for some people and their father had passed away. And I sat in the living room with them for probably 3 hours. And they just were sharing all the stories of the house because it's the same house they all grew up in. They're like, oh man, I remember breaking that lamp over there or doing this or throwing a ball through that window. And, a lot of people might sit there and be like, okay, this isn't part of the listing appointment. But I think that's cool because people are they're opening up to you in a very personal way, sharing their childhood memories and all the things that they remember from that house. And it's emotional. So it makes me like understand them more and what they want and give them a better experience. And I love that.
And this podcast is called Going the Extra Mile. But the more I talk to you, the more I realize you don't feel like you're going the extra mile.
I really don't.
Yeah. You absolutely are. There's no doubt that you are. But it's something that it's not work for you. It's not something in addition the way you see it. That's just who you are.
Yeah. I just think it goes back to like what probably all of our parents told us when we were kids. Treat people as you would want to be treated. And then I try to level it up a little bit more and just do things for people that they don't. I try to do the unexpected extras to make people feel special. So
how does that make you, when you're a client of someone else's, do you have those high expectations?
It depends on.
Do you expect people to live up to your standards?
Well, sometimes, but I've come to realize, thanks to my husband, he always tells me.
He's a great guy, by the way.
He always is laughing at me, just kind of shaking his head like, good Lord, all the stuff you do. Like we had some, friends, they were clients of mine, but they've become good friends. And they came over this summer, brought their girls, and we just grilled out and swam and had a good time. And we were all sitting out on the patio, and my husband was saying something to him. We were talking business, and he goes, I guarantee Melissa knows every one of y'all's birthdays, could tell you right now, your kids' birthdays, your anniversary, or whatever. And my client and friend looked at him and he goes, yeah, she does. I just got a birthday card in the mail from her with a Starbucks gift card. But it's finding that stuff out because people don't take the time to do it anymore. And it might be old school, some of the stuff, but old school still works. And I think now in our 24-hour or 24/7 society where it's just sending a text or an email is just the norm, that getting something handwritten or me showing up at somebody's house with something they like and it's their birthday, like that means something.
Yeah.
I don't expect people to do that for me, but I do that because it brings me joy. I'm a giver by nature. That's just what I like to do. And I like to make my people feel valued and appreciated.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a kid, like my dad, when he would come home from work and if I knew like, oh, he's going to mow the yard tonight or something, I'd get out there and do it. So, and nobody would ask me. My mom probably was thinking, good Lord, I wish he would stop because I had the worst allergies. And I would just be out there sneezing and snotting and miserable the whole time. But I'm like, my dad works his butt off and he needs to come home and just chill or I want to hang out with him. And this is one thing I can do to take off his plate. And I would just do it. And it's not that I didn't mind doing it. You know, just little things like that. I just try to, if I find a need and I have the time to do it and I know it's going to help somebody, I'm happy to do it.
That's really special.
Yeah. And
That's a great story,
I don't
by the way.
I'd rather just do it instead of somebody ask. Right? Because like me, I am so terrible about asking for help. I've always been. And as I've gotten older, I've learned certain aspects you got to ask for help. You know, but things like that, or if I know somebody's going through a hard time or, you know, it's just offering, hey, can I bring you dinner? Or can I go to the grocery store? Anything to just kind of ease the burden on them. If it's something I have the time and means to do, I'll do it.
Which is great.
Thanks.
It just it really is. And when you see this isn't an infomercial for Melissa, but when you see the way she does things, I can tell you that I've learned a lot. And I thought that I was pretty damn good, actually, but I've learned a lot from Melissa. And I can tell you that I'm not the only one that has learned from you. And as you're listening to these podcasts, try and implement some of this stuff and you'll quickly learn that it works. And it doesn't work specifically to get business. It works for you.
Right.
As an individual.
Yeah, just as a human. It's what makes me kind of tick and keeps me going. I mean, I think since COVID happened, it's thrown a wrench into so many people's lives with the sense of community and being around people and engaging with others. And now it's like I just never let that go. Like you might have to adapt and do it a different way, but I like to be in person with people. I am a hugger. You know, there's a lot of my clients, they don't even bother trying to shake my hand. They just know, they just come in, you know. And I thought it was funny, like during COVID when I was, you know, working or showing houses, I'd meet up with my clients like, can I hug you? And I'm like, is that even a question? Please. I need that. That's just what fuels me. But,
and I can tell you, once you shift that frame of mind and you choose to look at things like, I get to do this, I'm grateful for this, it can really change your life.
Oh, it will change your life, but it will change every aspect of your life. I mean, you go from like, oh, I'm not doing very well in my business to, well, I get to go meet this person today. I get to do this. You know what? That people can sense how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, so if I show up at a listing appointment or with a buyer and I'm dragging my butt and I'm kind of down in the dumps, like the other day, I was showing properties to clients and they were in their car right behind me and I got sideswiped and they saw the whole thing. And I thought, oh God, how embarrassing. Yeah. You know, like my clients, they're probably thinking, damn, I'm glad I'm not in the car with her, right? we pulled onto the street, get out, show them the house. And I just got out of the car and I just started laughing. I was smiling and cracking up. And they're like looking at me like I'm nuts. And I was like, hey, nobody was hurt. It could have been worse. Like, It sucks that it happened, but I'm not going to stress about it. It's a car. It can be fixed. And really, there was hardly any damage. And they were just like, wow, you handled that really well. Like some people that would just ruin their whole day.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not worth it. It's not worth little petty crap. Bad crap's going to happen. And it's just all about your response to it. And I think that's something people need to realize is every single day, we have a choice with everything we do, whether to hit the snooze button, whatever. But it's like to choose how you react to things, I think says so much about you.
Yeah. Well, we want to encourage everyone to love what they do and love their life and help others. So people want to get a hold of you. How can they do that?
You can find me on my website is melissamovesdfw.com, or you can reach me on my cell phone at 214-280-4317.
All right. I can't wait for the next episode of Going the Extra Mile.
If you have questions about buying, selling, renting, or investing, don't go at it alone. Reach out to Melissa at 214-280-4317 or melissa@melissamovesdfw.com. You can find out more about the Melissa Avera Realty Group at TVG by visiting melissamovesdfw.com. Thank you for listening to Going the Extra Mile.